Welcome to the Village Church Connections. I'm Don Pullen, the Associate Pastor at the church. Today I have with me David Pavey and Ken Nesselrode. And David has a verse by Rudyard Kipling that he's going to share with us that will give us a little bit of design of what we're going to try and accomplish today. David.
Well, Kipling wrote, "I have 6 special serving men. They taught me all I knew. They are what and where and when and why and how and who." So we're going to take those words and talk a little bit about memorial services today based on that.
Memorial services is one of the ministries that we have here at the church, particularly for those that are from our Shell Point community and from our village church. And so we thought it would be important to tell everyone about how those work and some of the particular details which would help them. Ken, why don't you start off with what and why and when and where?
All right. What is the first we'll talk about, and basically it's what are the services? Well, they're a time to remember the person who's gone, so they're commemorative in nature. They're also usually religious because there's the spiritual overtones to all of our lives, and so that's an important part. And then they include such things as scripture, tributes by family or dear friends, prayers of that sort, and not unusually a homily. And then there's the why concept, and we usually think of having services like this to provide an opportunity to bring comfort to family and friends and to give them a sense of peace about what is happening, as well as closure, and then also just the concept of community. So many times we live in community, and if we don't take this opportunity, something gets lost, something is dropped. So that's why. And then when. And to talk about when, we have to actually start with the church calendar, for we really can't do anything in the church building until we can clear it on the calendar. So we clear it on the calendar, and then we look at some very personal family things, such as what are the needs of the family? Are there family members present and that they want to have it right away? Would it be better in the big picture to wait a while until other family members can come in or flight arrangements can be made and that kind of thing? So we really leave it up to people. And then another issue is that we usually don't have these services on weekends, especially Sundays or holidays. So we avoid the holidays and Sundays. Let's talk about where for just a minute. Because we usually do these services at the village church, frequently in the chapel, which holds 80 to 120 people, and most generally that fits out very well. And then occasionally we have a larger service in the auditorium. So that's usually where, and that's why it's so important to clear this on the calendar, because we have well over 200 events a year on the church calendar. And then who? And just to say this, that the Shell Point Village Church provides this ministry for Shell Point residents and for members of the village church, some of whom live outside of Shell Point. So we provide that for them. And it's not unusual to have visiting ministers for people who attend a church elsewhere. And in order to accommodate the family, the visiting minister from that church family comes in and holds the service or officiates at the service.
And we work with them and sort of help them through any challenges that they would face.
Right.
Great. David, the how question, are there some particular things that will help a family when they think about having a memorial service?
Yes, we encourage people, first of all, to think who they would like to officiate at the ceremony. Because if the person who's going to officiate isn't free, we can't do it. So we start there, we get a date, and then we approach the church and we check the church calendar to see where we can fit this in and if we can bring the two together. And we usually succeed sooner or later. So that works well. But it's helpful to start with the person who's officiating. It's helpful when the family appoints one person to be the go-between between the family and the church when we're trying to put things together, because we plan the bulletin and other things that involve coordination, and it's very difficult to be communicating with several on the same subject. Sometimes it's the person bereaved, sometimes it's a son or a daughter. Sometimes those who pass on have left a whole ceremony for us. All we do is follow what's been prepared. But most people don't do that, of course. The family needs to give some thought then to the hymns that we sing, who would handle the guest book. If they want some flowers, they would take care of all of that. The church, if one of our pastors is officiating, will provide the bulletin, which typically involves a little biography, maybe some verses of scripture, the order of service, and some people like to indicate where to send a memorial gift. All those kinds of things, and we provide that for people. We also provide the guest book. If a pastor from a different church in the area is going to be officiating, then that church would provide the bulletin. They'd put that together. That simplifies things and it avoids confusion. And then some people would like a reception. That's all part of the how. Normally they would get that catered by the Crystal, and it would be catered at the church in the hospitality room, or at the social center, or some other room that might be free. But that's between the family and the social center.
I think it's very helpful for people to understand some of these things, because that's a very emotional time when we have to say goodbye to a loved one, and having this information in advance sort of gives them an idea of things, because it is so important that you say goodbye in the right way, and people want to do that. They really do want to do that, but often we're able to come alongside them, help them to do it in a very effective way. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching the Village Church Connections. Have a great day.